This is the iconic orange chicken from Panda Express, but this isn't your typical Panda Express. This is actually the test kitchen, where they create new dishes that are going to be rolled out at Panda stores worldwide. Today, we'll go through the entire process of how orange chicken is made, and we're going to get to see some secret new dishes that they're working on now. This is Chef Jimmy Wang, the Executive Director of Product Innovation at Panda Express. I've watched every single video of you demoing orange chicken.
Jimmy Wang. All right. Unique.
Available on the internet.
Okay.
And here's the thing, I don't believe you. I don't believe the recipes that are out there because I think that's the home-friendly version.
Sure. Okay.
I'm really interested in figuring out what the actual orange chicken process is in the 2,500 locations that you guys have.
This is
chicken thigh.
Actually, chicken thigh, a little bit of leg, fresh, not frozen. You got white pepper, modified cornstarch, soybean oil, water, salt to help to balance the pH. The most unique thing about our marinade is this item. It's called dry egg powder. The egg itself has protein enzyme.
Sure.
So this enzyme actually being pumped into the chicken muscle is actually going to help that chicken flavor to accentuate.
The modified cornstarch is mostly to bind everything together and get it nice and tacky so that everything can actually stick to it. The oil plus the egg powder plus the water is, in a sense, like macronutrient-wise, the consistency of the egg itself. But when you fry it, I'm assuming that because there's oil inside of the batter, the oil will help lift the batter up a little bit to make it a little bit lighter and crispier, right? The more separation you get of the batter from the chicken itself, the more space there is to absorb that delicious orange chicken sauce.
You nailed
Amazing.
Put all these dry ingredients into this little bucket right here first.
Okay. Wait, so what is this machine we're looking at here?
It's called a vacuum tumbler. Basically pressurize the environment. It's almost like if it was in space, zero gravity.
Right.
If you look at a typical muscle, you have fibers.
Yeah.
So right now, in between fiber to fiber, there's a small gap, right?
Right.
What we wanted to use that pressure is to push the gap to become larger.
I see.
So that whatever we marinate is going to fill in those gaps.
Nobody's going to do this at home. But if your manufacturers and your vendors are doing this regularly, then you are guaranteed this sort of chicken product that is thoroughly seasoned, right?
Yes. It's making sure that every step of the process is the same.
How big would this be in the actual facility?
We're talking about something that can fit about 4,000 pounds to 8,000 pounds.
Of what?
A chicken.
Easy.
Cool. Imagine a small Honda Civic hatchback.
Nuts.
That's the size of the tumbler.
I don't have a driver's license, so I don't know what that means.
So now that the vacuum itself is done, we are going to let it tumble for about 15 minutes.
Okay. This is so excessive for what we're doing. It's cool. Oh, this is significantly less exciting to look at than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a rapid spin.
I know. 15 minutes later, the absorption has happened. So if you can see these lines between the actual muscles itself, little white crevices, white lines, the marinade has been absorbed into the chicken itself. I wanted to end roughly about 1 inch and 1.5 inches. And then I don't want my length to be anything above 1.5 either.
Yeah.
So that we can land somewhere this nice square. In the actual cutting machine, is actually measuring the chicken as is sort of fit into the belt. The chicken's moving forward. And then all of a sudden, 3 seconds later, there's a cross blade. And then it will time to exactly about 1 inch to 1.5 inches.
The uniformity of the cut size of the chicken is so important because if they're different sizes, they fry to different degrees.
Exactly.
The batter is, I cannot emphasize how complicated this process is because water and sauciness and delicious sauce, like we know water and crisp don't go together.
Right.
But you want both of them to be true at the same time.
Yes.
And the way to do that is to manipulate the ratios between the starches and the flours.
Yes. So this version has wheat starch, cornstarch, potato starch, and then flour.
This is for texture primarily. This is for the wet batter to adhere.
Yes. We want dual structure. So one structure is about ability to take on more weight on the surface.
Okay.
Right? The other structure is protecting the moisture of the chicken.
I can only imagine how long it took for you guys to nail
Exactly.
even this step before even that step for the ratios. And
I can tell you that it's so intricate that even the origin where the starch was produced to the seasonality of starch.
What do you mean seasonality of starch?
So when they harvest, right, where there's the potato, where there's the rice, where there is the corn, that seasonality can have dampness, right? So there's actually residual moisture over time. So if you don't want a cakey, you want to be fluffy, light. I mean, that's the thing you have to think about. You have to think about when to buy. You got to think about when to store. You got to think about when to grind. Yeah.
Nuts.
So for today, we're going to use a little bit hand and a little bit machine. I'm the machine, you're the hand.
Okay. I mean, this is like snow. It's a little bit slippery. It falls off. I mean, it falls off your hand seamlessly unless there's any moisture on it, which I do have from a little bit of that chicken. Yes. The tackiness of that chicken, plus even as light of a dust and as light of a toss that I'm doing now, it will adhere in this sort of like perfectly imperfect, sort of even but uneven texture. This is simulating inside of the factory where they dust it off. Does that kind of look right?
Yeah.
This is so time consuming. I have always thought that the biggest problem with Chinese American food, the reason why so much of the delicious things are delicious is because it is a labor intensive process.
It is.
Unlike a lot of other cuisines, it just takes a lot of steps. And the fact that we have to batter chicken 3 times, right? Marinade, dry batter, wet batter.
Yes.
Shaking it off one piece at a time, cutting it to this degree, it is the type of thing that you ask yourself why Chinese food hasn't perhaps scaled as quickly as all these other types of cuisines out there. So this is primarily flour.
This is primarily flour.
And seasoning. There's onion powder in here for sure.
Just a very simple amount of seasoning, not too crazy.
I know you're not gonna tell me, but my guess is like onion, garlic, maybe white pepper. I mean, it's got that like dry ranch powder kind of feel. Anyway, I'm not going to push you on this.
You're getting there.
What's the water to batter ratio?
Simple, 1-to-1. And then what we want is actually to be about 35 degree to 41 degree in terms of temperature batter.
Well, it's cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold. Because we are going to fry at a 380 degree oil.
Okay.
So the contrast is so different. It's going to cause the batter to really puff.
So for all you viewers at home, the thing with frying is in order to create a batter, you need moisture from within to punch out. And as that moisture is punching out, water is evaporating, that creates an air bubble. And that gap, when we bite down on dehydrated crust, is crispiness and crunchiness. So you want that moisture to punch out, in effect, as far as possible without getting the batter to fall off the chicken as it's being fried. So what makes orange chicken good according to Panda Express?
Flavor profile, make sure it's bold, a texture.
Yeah.
Right. We want soft on the inside, crispy on the outside.
Yeah.
And then there's a hot, sticky glaze.
Orange chicken has to go through 3 stages of marination / battering before it's even fried, before it's even glazed, finished, served to the guest, right? Yeah. So much of what makes Chinese food delicious is that labor.
And we believe in this vessel, the wok, right? That's the mother of all. That's where you spend the time. But the question is, how can I make everything around the wok simple?
So you can focus your training, focus your education the wok.
Right now, we're heating up the wok a little bit.
So you're looking for 380.
380. And then after that, we're going to go chill it.
And so this is the first fry, happens at the vendor. Second fry comes into the restaurant. When it's actually crispy, it's golden brown and all these things.
So I noticed that our batter is a little hot. So we're actually going to put it over ice bath and cool it down a little bit more.
Now I actually feel useful. I'm actually cooking. The second that the batter goes in, it is sealing, right? So once it seals and the starch is gelatinized and it's not going to stick to each other. The chicken is not cooked at all.
Yes.
Right? You're basically setting the shape, right?
Yes.
The magic of the starch and not just the flour is that it is actually quite crispy already. Like you can see the separation of the batter from the chicken itself at an appropriate amount, right? These craggles, that's what's gonna catch the sauce. And that's proof that some of the moisture is already punching out. Without that modified starch and the secret proprietary seasonal starch recipe, I don't think most orange chickens will have this degree of crisp at this level of cook. It feels surprisingly brittle and it sounds great.
All right, I'm gonna send this to a freezer. We're gonna chill it.
Okay.
And then we're gonna see the product typically after chill.
Was there ever a sandwich?
There was.
Orange chicken sandwich?
We've had.
It doesn't exist in any stores right now.
Not right now. You got to think about how this is translated to guests across the country. And unfortunately, not everybody's thinking about a sweet and sour orange chicken sandwich.
Right. I can imagine a whole host of issues, right? That you might have come into throughout your different testing process. You would have to come up with new packaging. You would have to tell people who come to Panda Express who eat with utensils all the time to now eat with their hands, right?
Yeah.
You're introducing all these different cuts and you would have to roll it out in all of those different places.
To be honest with you, I don't think chicken sandwich is done yet.
Yeah.
I just think that there's still got a couple more iterations before we go.
Yeah.
We have distilled white vinegar, sugar to balance that. People need to make sure they taste sweet and sour, right?
Why is it white vinegar and not rice vinegar? Or
we want it as potent as possible.
That acidity, that low pH is so important to get our taste buds excited, but that doesn't mean that it has to taste sour. And so that's a balance with the
sugar,
the healthy amount of sugar.
Yes. What we wanted to do is heighten that note by adding aromatics, ginger garlic, chili.
I hear that Americans get scared if there's chili in anything at all. But just because there is chili doesn't mean that overall it needs to be spicy, right? The Scoville unit doesn't have to be super, super high. Chili does this wonderful thing, especially in Chinese food, that elevates the aromatic profile. And, in your taste buds, it is activating a different sensory network because it's a sense of taste. It's a sense of a little bit of pain.
Yes. We have sesame oil, Shaoxing cooking wine. All of this is into our Panda soy sauce.
Yeah.
So I actually want you to try it real quick.
It is not just soy sauce, though.
No, it's not.
There's vinegar in there, right?
No.
No? Soy sauce, sugar,
Sure.
probably water and salt, maybe. You're not gonna tell me, right?
And then now,
Whoa, wait.
Yes.
Where's the orange?
There's orange in
Okay, is this a combined?
Yeah, this is
orange chicken
everything
sauce?
combined already.
I'm sorry I cut you out. I just realized. I was wondering if I was being bamboozled. I mean, look at this beautiful color. It's in between honey and maple syrup.
Yes.
In both color and in viscosity.
So I want you to try it's cold.
Sure.
And then later on, let's try when it's active.
Cool. Sweet, sour.
Yep.
Savory is at the end.
Yep.
Aromatic base.
Yep.
Really yummy. Orange is at the back. I feel like because it's cold, I cannot taste everything that's inside of it. So you're working right now on something that might come out next fall. Was there anything you're working on recently that you're like, we're gonna have to take this back to the drawing board?
Yeah, there's an item we love. We actually launched once. It's called Sichuan hot chicken, combining the Sichuan flavor with sort of the Tennessee style hot chicken. We were a little ahead of ourselves. We decided that we can introduce a new platform because chicken strip is something that we currently don't have on the menu.
Okay.
Right? So when we introduced 2 new variables into the system, we kind of didn't get the result that we're hoping for. Guests wanted to use a fork. They want bite-sized product. They want to eat.
How do you know that? Do they say, hey, this is too big for my mouth?
We did. We actually done tremendous amount of survey. So we want to take some learning from it so that the next time when we do it again, it's going to be the better version. So later on, you're actually going to try the improved version.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All the chicken now has taken the right amount of time to chill, right? And at this point, they are frozen blocks, right?
Okay.
The store received the product like this.
Yeah.
So right now you can see there's a little bit of shiny crystals.
Yeah.
That's that moisture migration we're talking about.
So freezing actually helps it, right?
Exactly.
It's like how British chefs freeze their potato chips before they fry it.
Yes.
It helps dehydrate it over time.
Exactly.
Great. So this is just going to become even more crispy.
So let's drop it into this 2 basket. We're going to drop it into
all of
the
it.
So outside is getting crisp, inside is getting moist and steamed. And then eventually we get to the color that we like. We call it GBD, golden brown delicious.
Oh, cool.
And then that's when we take it off and then we'll toss it in the wok. If it's a little too hot, you can use
Sure.
Let me know. Okay. Can you hear that?
Yeah,
You hear
crispy.
that? Yeah.
And you can see the dark meat. You can see the fibers. It is also much lighter now.
Yes.
Because we've put in all that work to dehydrate the crust so that it's lighter. The batter is fully stuck onto the chicken. There's no crazy gap where the chicken might slip out or something like
The
this.
pre-dust that we talked about earlier.
Makes a big difference.
Yes. I am going to pour in a little bit of oil to season the surface. All right. So this is the fun part. You can see there's a buildup of caramelization all around the wok. And we like to look at the sauce consistency to ensure that it's that velvety, long stringy texture. And then so now you can see those mini little bubbles, right? The sugar is caramelized. You can smell the aroma. Now we're gonna add the chicken in.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
And this lasts no more than 30 minutes inside of a standard
won't.
Panda Express.
Sell them really, really
Nuts.
fast.
Cool.
Okay. Now we have our onion chicken.
I mean, that's super sexy looking. Like the gloss is crazy. It is so even. It's on every single piece. The shine from the oil that you've added, not from the wok cooking, but from at the end of the sauce. I mean, this is typical, iconic, legendary orange chicken. The chili, I don't think I think this is zero spicy for me.
Yeah.
It's a nice little like red pop of color. The orange is so subtle.
It's just a sort of the essence of fruitiness.
I mean, this follows a very long tradition in different parts of regional China.
Yep.
Where you fry something to coat it in a sauce. And the fry itself is not only to make it crispy, but it's also to give it structure to soak in a delicious sauce. Thank you for showing us this.
All right.
What are some other things that you have in development? I heard that we might be able to taste some things today.
Yeah, the menu team,
Chasu, Sichuan
Dynamite.
they're actually going to walk you through a couple items that we're doing some evaluation on. We have our version of chashu.
Char siu pork.
Yes.
You don't have any pork on the menu right now.
We don't have any pork on the menu right now.
Interesting.
And we love American bacon.
Yeah.
So how can we combine this idea, the thick cut American bacon with chashu flavor?
Back in the test kitchen, Chef Chad, what are we looking at?
So we are looking at our version of Chasu.
Speaking my language, Cantonese.
Yeah. So Cantonese, right. We are really pushing this idea of char siu, barbecue, and just kind of doing a gut check, seeing how well it does. Do Americans relate to it? Do they like it?
Come on. How could you not? Other than the char siu reference, this glaze and this caramelization also reminds me of the ribs that Chinese takeout restaurants have.
Sure.
Pork belly char siu in Hong Kong is called to dei cha, which means dragging on the floor, because the belly drags on the floor when the pig is walking. And so it's called floor dragging char siu. Yum. Chad is secretly making the Panda Express menu a little bit Filipino, because this does remind me a lot of tocino, which is, from my limited understanding, kind of almost a Filipino take on char siu. Sweet, savory, char, like actually burnt sugar on the outside, burnt enough, caramelized enough that it almost has a bit of crunch. Yum. What are you gonna show me now?
I am gonna show you our dish called Sichuan hot chicken.
Okay.
So we developed a really unique sauce. It's got brown sugar, soy sauce powder, onion, garlic,
Right.
a little honey powder, vinegar powder, red chili, and red Sichuan. We offer fried chicken at our restaurants,
Yeah.
and why not have a unique sauce on
Cool.
our version? We got inspired by Southern fried chicken on sliced chicken breast.
Oh, yum. My first thought is that it is way less spicy than I thought it was going to be. Getting some numbing, but the Sichuan peppercorns were not activated in heat, right? The thing I like about Sichuan peppercorn when it's finished is that it gives it like citrus floral note. The thing I'm always looking for from mala is like the length of flavor. I think this has a decent length of flavor. For it to be truly mala, I would want to be a little bit more attacked.
Yeah.
And like I would want to feel with my previous bite as I'm taking my next bite. So in my opinion, it could be amped up, but I'm just one guy. So can you walk me through what the process for R&Ding a new product would look like, timeline-wise, who you have to involve, all of that stuff?
So we have research, which is from our brand team. Then after that, we develop initial concept, right, without the product. Then we're going to the prototyping, and which is coming up with the first version ever. Then we're going to the science, which is actually thinking about where we can produce it. We gather together as an entire team, we do evaluation. And then from that evaluation, we take it to what we call the operation testing. We want to see how the operators will execute.
Yeah.
And then finally, we're going to what we call a market test, which is actually plug it into different markets of America to see how the guests react to the product.
And then if it passes certain tests, it doesn't pass certain tests, you go back to the prototype and you keep doing it and doing it.
Yes.
How long does that take? This usually.
So depends on the metric that we need to hit. I would say typically from a conceptual all the way to the product deliverable, it could be up to about 13 months.
All right, so here we're making dynamite sweet and sour chicken, making it spicy because that's what the Gen Zers love.
Oh, spicy is sweet plus spicy.
Yes.
And so the idea is that a trend forecaster or somebody from the trend team would have said spicy's in, and then you answer with product. This chicken looks different from the orange chicken.
It is. So it is a breaded chicken product, and it's white meat.
Oh, yeah.
It is a partnership with Bulldog. Extremely spicy.
You had promised that this was going to be the spiciest thing Panda's ever served. Wow, look at that color. Oh my God. If orange chicken is 1, how many chili peppers is this?
I would say it's probably like 8, 10.
And this is Bulldog level spice for sure. When you work with another brand like Bulldog through the R&D process, when do you involve them?
They definitely wanted to make sure that the spice delivered as something expected. We had them come in, taste it, and make sure that the mark on the spice.
I think that craggliness is really, really nice. I think it's really delicious. It's great. And it looks awesome. And it's hot, but it is good. It's painful. I feel like I may have wrecked my palate for the next dish, but we should try the next thing.
Next, we are making something not as spicy.
Yeah.
We're making crispy sesame, shrimp, and beef. It's our take on, the surf and turf. We have this, what is inspired by a mouth-watering sauce.
Oh,
You're
cool.
familiar
Like
with that?
口水鸡 type of 口水 sauce.
So it's got a lot of those aromatics, the garlic, the sesame, a little black vinegar, a little tomato for some savoriness.
Tomato? That looks good. I like the shrimp. This reminds me of like a super Chinese American kung pao shrimp. It's got a sweet chili type of thing. I'm not entirely convinced that this dish would add anything to me because I love the honey walnut and I love the Beijing beef. I'm interested in seeing what like the product positioning of this dish is and if it sells well because it is combined. But the colors look great. I love the high number of vegetables in it. And I think the fry on the shrimp is really, really wonderful. It's exciting to hear that your reference points for new products are oftentimes Chinese and American. The last time we saw each other, probably like 7, 8 years ago, you're beginning this quest of convincing people that it's okay to be Chinese American, that you don't really need to have that conversation of whether Panda Express is authentic Chinese food anymore, and establish the fact that American Chinese food is a regional Chinese food that happens to exist outside of the borders of China. So is that battle mostly won?
For the past 7, 8 years, even up to 10 years, they find comfort to enjoy nakatsu, right? Enjoying this cuisine of American Chinese cuisine. Now that we're stabilized, we're a little bit more established, and people can sort of have this expectation of what American Chinese is. Now we get to play a little bit more. We get to maybe sketch outside the box a little bit every once in a while. Just so that people can see a variation from us.
Let me tell you this. I learned a couple of things today. I learned about the importance of the layered batter to create that sort of texture. Chicken that's crispy, that's not fried all the way, is incredible. Second, I learned a little bit about flavor profile and flavor positioning. The flavor profile of that sweet and sour is just the beginning, with the layered aromatics and that lasting savoriness. It's also a blueprint for a lot of the new development of dishes at Panda Express. To see a cuisine that is that complex, distributed to 2,500 locations worldwide, with the amount of attention to detail, plus the cultural mission, huge privilege to see.